Annyeonghaseyo. Or maybe it's bonjour, mon ami. Or how about namaste, mer dost. However you want to say it, Speak.com is here to help you learn. And they say they can get you speaking a different language from day one. Today, we're going to check out this service and possibly get me speaking a different language. Next on Geekazine. What's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in a Geek. Speak.com is sponsoring this video, but all opinions are that of Geekazine. I got a full section over at geekazine.com/review where you can check it all out. And of course, if you got a product or website that you want me to take a look at, all you have to do is contact me there. Now, to start, I have to say that I have tried other services. They teach words, but mostly fairly impersonal words. They want me to learn odd words like butterfly or caterpillar before I mastered the greetings and all the basics, the ones, the twos, the threes, the hellos, the goodbyes. They would also push both the speaking and writing aspects, which I eventually will learn how to do, but I don't want to start doing everything at once. I want to learn the verbal language first. Speak.com is AI powered. The language learning mobile app is designed to help people become fluent by actually speaking the language out loud, rather than just memorizing words or doing drills. It gives you the ability to talk in real scenario conversations so you can prepare for talking out in the real world. I remember the first time I had to walk into a store that I did not know the language, and we had to have a communication back and forth between the clerk so I could find out how to pay for things, where they were. So being able to have this to prepare for that situation is a must-have. Now, downloading the app is absolutely free. There's iOS and Android version. Setting it up is very straightforward. You do get a free trial with your plan, and of course, plans start at $19.99 a month or $119 a year. And they do have plans for businesses that need to get their employees up to speed on a specific language. So without further ado, let's see what this app is and how we can start speaking a new language right now. I went through the intro of the language that I chose. Of course, it's Korean. I know a little bit of Korean because I've been to Korea a few times, but it's always good to grow my understanding of the language, that is. So we have the app downloaded. You get it for iOS or Android. There is no desktop app, but you could probably download an emulator like BlueStacks or something like that, and then put it onto your Windows desktop. The bottom line is it's got to go through the app here. And so we've got it downloaded. We've got it installed. Like I said, I went through the intro on there where it basically shows you 3 phrases that you would use. These are phrases that I've already known, which is great. So now here is the interface for this app, and let's go through that really quick. All right, we're going to start on the top level here, so let's go up there. So basically we're on the level, and we're at basic greetings. So if we press on that, we can start the process, the learning process here. Going to course, that's basically the same thing. But if we go over to practice, that's got something new. We can actually do what's called free talk, where it basically is like an AI is talking to you. Like, let's say you stepped into a coffee shop or something like that. That was what the person would be responding to you, saying, "Hi, welcome to the coffee shop. What would you like? Would you like a donut? Would you like coffee? Whatever." So that's what that is all about here. And then on the far right, we have this little fire icon, which basically shows you your streak. As you can see, my new record of 1-day streak is here. So we can come back to level, and it shows us where we want to go. We could go back to continue there. And now let's go to the bottom of the screen. And this is where we have our menu. We have our lessons right here. We have the free talk, where you can talk with different people. Like, for instance, let's zoom back out so you can see this up on top. It says learn Korean with friends. So if you do that, you could start chatting with other people. I think you could start chatting with other people. Once again, this is AI based. So we've got the Smart Review, which you can go through to see where you are right now. We're at 100% mastered on this. That's great. We've got a challenge area, which you can join with other people and find out where you sit. Of course, with the beginner level, you got 3-4 words to that, so it's fairly straightforward to do that. But as you grow, you can compete with other people to see where you're going, so you can keep yourself challenged. And then, of course, your profile, which is going to tell you your streak, your saved lines. You could also help other people learn languages by referring a friend. And of course, if you go over to geekazine.shop/speak, then you can start your journey. Of course, I'll have that link down in the show notes as well. So, all right, let's get back here. So like I said, we did the basic greetings. We're going to start over. And here's the introduction. You get started with an AI person telling you, okay, these are the words, kind of giving a more personable feel. But then it comes to this introduction area. So we're going to internalize what you have already learned. We've completed the first step, which was basically the instructions. So let's hit next. And it says, let's practice the formal and informal versions of hello, which is 안녕하세요 and 안녕.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. You notice that it opened up the microphone, so that means that you have to accept that to use the microphone to use in this app. There are points where, like, let's say you're in a conference or something like that and you can't speak right now. You just want to listen to what's going on. There's a little toggle up on top that basically says, I can't speak right now, but I want to review what's going on. So, all right, so we said 안녕하세요. That's the full version of hello. The 안녕 is just the, that's hi, as opposed to hello. So we'll tap anywhere to continue. Tap anywhere. 안녕하세요. 안녕. 안녕. There we go. It took a second there. I have a little bit of internet lag going on right now. This is where we're going to see the screen blanked out for the word.
Hello.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
There we go. And we can choose example,
안녕하세요.
which is basically them speaking it back. And I can do this again.
안녕하세요.
As you can hear, that recorded me. And then, of course, that comes back here. So, of course, if we hit the restart button, there we go. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
There we go. Let's continue on.
Hi.
안녕. There we go. And you saw that little bit of pause there. Just keep that in mind.
Hello.
안녕. 하세요.
안녕하세요.
I messed that up. Do that again.
Hello.
안녕하세요. There we go.
안녕하세요.
There we go.
Hi.
안녕. 안녕.
안녕. Hi.
안녕. There we go.
안녕.
It's not perfect, but I've used a few of these other language learning courses, and I found that sometimes they were not really personable. And that's where this was coming in, getting it a little bit more personable to what I'm doing, who I am, and what I would actually say if I had an interaction with somebody speaking Korean or Chinese or French or whatever. So we've now completed that task. We're going to move on to our thank yous.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. Now notice it's going to say it's with a G, but it's more of a K sound. So, and they explain this at the intro. So I'll say it. 감사합니다. 감사합니다. There we go. We can also see the Hangul right here on how that is put together. So basically there's three symbols right there. The little 7 looking symbol, the line with a middle line, and then of course a square O. That's GAM. Gum. And then sa is the kind of looks like the watering stick, and then the line. So learning the Hangul is gonna be a different challenge, but I like the idea that they have the Hangul and then the pronunciation, an English phonetic pronunciation underneath. That helps me a lot because I don't want to learn Hangul right now. I want to just learn the words so I can talk to somebody. I'm not ready to write the language. So let's move on. 감사합니다. 감사합니다. Keep in mind, we also have two other options here. We have the option to flag something if it's not right. And of course, we have this, which basically is, hey, I really need to learn. Like, this is a newer word to me. Tumanao. I have to learn that. So I'll put that little tag there. That way a bookmark so I can come back to it. Tumanao. It heard the first part, but didn't hear the second part. So let's restart that.
또 만나요.
또 만나요. There we go. And I can hear myself.
또 만나요.
We'll continue on. Holding your breath as you say the 또, because they were talking about it in the opening statements. It's like if you put your hand here, you can feel the plosives from, like, so if you say two, you get that plosive, but it's a two from like more the back of the throat. You get to the phonetic that they're looking for. 또 만나요. See? And now we'll go to the challenge.
Thank you.
또 만나요. 또 만나요.
감사합니다.
Oh. Oops. Let's do that again.
Thank you.
감사합니다. 감사합니다. There we go.
감사합니다. See you.
또 만나요. 만나요.
또 만나요.
만나요. See, I messed that up. Let's do that again.
See you.
또 만나요. I messed that up too.
See you.
또 만나요. There we go.
만나요.
또 만나요. Now trying to remember that, that's going to be a different story. So we'll keep going. 감사합니다.
Thank you.
감사합니다. There we go.
감사합니다.
I'm also rushing, so I got to wait for that speak now to show up. So it'll be sure that it's listening to what I say, because it might start recording and I'll just hear hamida as opposed to 감사합니다. And I cheated when I first learned 감사합니다. I used sticks, come sail away, because that's what it is. 감사합니다, 감사합니다, 감사합니다 with me. Yeah, that's the way I learn every now and then. So.
See you.
또 만나요. Yeah, I missed it. Didn't like the 만나요. There we go.
만나요.
Oh, and then I said 만나요, and then it accepted it. That's great. That's great. So let's move on. There we go. We've completed that task. So tumanao is the newer word for me, and I gained 46 experience points from this. I spoke 23 sentences and 10 minutes studied. So we can keep learning. We can go home. Let's go to the home. And it's asking, am I enjoying this? And I say, yeah, I'm enjoying this. Hopefully you're enjoying this too. So basically this is the app that we can go through. So what I'm going to go through is I'm going to go through a couple more lessons, and then I'll be able to go into something like the challenge or even the free talk. So let's just do that. And then it's doing a chat, which I'm going to be speaking.
오늘 프렌즈에서 어떤 표현들을
And I don't know the rest of it. So I can submit that. And it's translating it. That's interesting. That takes you to a different level. So once I've got a few terms under my belt, and I can go in and feel like I'm actually at, like I said, a place where somebody's speaking Korean, that I can try and interact with them so I get an understanding of how I'm doing it, how well I'm doing it from there. Let's go into the gear here. And let's take a look at the account. We can manage our membership. I do have the Premium Plus since they are sponsoring me with this video. We can manage the account. We can get our notifications set up. We can set up our preferences. So, which basically looks like one thing, turn on or off leagues. We can also clear our cache so we can start over. We've got support here. We've got our app language of English, which we could change it to something else. I'm not going to do that because that'll mess everything up. And then we can change the language course. So let's say I want to start learning Japanese. It says, hey, you can switch Japanese for English speakers. Let's do the change. And now we're at the beginning of Japanese. We can see what our initial phrases are. Hello, welcome to Japan. We can also get the video. Let's just start here and see where it goes. So,
hey there! I've got a great word for you today. Sumimasen. It's like, excuse me. This is probably the most useful Japanese word you can know. Sumimasen. Try it yourself. Sumimasen.
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 That's right. Sumimasen. This word is so useful because it works for apologies and for getting someone's attention.
Sumimasen.
Accidentally bump into someone? Ah, sumimasen. Need to grab a waiter's attention? Sumimasen. See what I mean? Say it for me one more time. Sumimasen.
Sumimasen. There you go.
Nice! So, let's say you're in a crowded cafe in Japan and you need an extra chair for your table. You spot someone at another table with an empty chair. You can use sumimasen to get their attention, but how do you ask if you can use the chair? I've got a little hack for you. Say, ii desu ka? Now this means, is it okay? But implies, is it okay if I use this chair? Just make sure to make full use of your gestures to make your meaning clear.
All right. So you get the idea. We've got a learning coach here that you can go through more of a video tutorial. You got a face-to-face interaction. That's always a good thing for this. So we can, and as you can see right here, let me show you this. Like I said, this little can't speak now option. So if I choose that, then it'll do ii desu ka, and then it'll repeat itself. So you can hear it, but you don't have to repeat it. So we'll leave that unchecked right now. But that's the whole idea with this, is to learn a lot of languages through interaction and through a little bit of personability. So you're able to feel more comfortable talking to people because, yeah, you're talking to AI, but it's better than just some blank screen that says idoka. Idosa. I forgot the word already. One last thing here, and that's the tutor. That's on the bottom right-hand corner, a little icon overlay, and basically says, hey there, I'm always available if you want to talk to me. Tapping the suggestions below. What's your dream job? I'd love to hear about what your dream job, what does it appeal to you? My dream job would be to have a daily show that I talk to tech experts from around the world. And it says, that sounds like an amazing job. You got to learn that from experts and stay up to date with the latest technology trends every day. Would you like to practice talking about your dream job in Japanese? We could say, sure. We can also use the keyboard to type it in if we want to. Would you like to try saying that in Japanese? Let's see it. Why don't you say it first? There it is right there. And so we can then hit this.
私の夢の仕事は世界中のテック専門家と毎日話せる番組を持つことです。
So eventually I would be at a point where I could actually say that in Japanese or Korean or French or anything else. So that's what I like to this. And then, like I said, I can go back to the keyboard. This is basically an AI chat, so you can get better at what you want to learn, that being the language. And of course, if there's anybody that's interested in this part, is yes, it does know the curse words. And we put that in there. There's the I put a curse word into the chat, and it came back and says, here's the meaning of the word in Korean. It's a Korean slang word used for curse or expletive. It's not going to tell you which of the 7 deadly words it is, but it says it's considered very rude and should be avoided in polite conversation. I'm going to switch it back to Korean, of course, and then let's go ahead and flip over and get into the pros and cons of this app. The biggest con I find is I can't get a Windows or Mac version. It's iOS or Android. Now, I can do an emulator and put that onto the computer, and then I'm good. But they don't have any native apps. So if I'm not in front of my phone, if I'm not in front of my tablet, and I want to learn a little bit more, I'm just going to have to wait or download an emulator, install it, and run it that way. There's really not much involved in here. It's not like they're using SMS or anything like that. So it'd be nice to have even just some aspects on the computer so I can look at it and work on it as I'm going, maybe while I'm in a conference or in a hotel room or anything like that. I do like the interface on the iOS and the Android side. They're pretty similar, so it's not going to be a big deal if you switch back and forth. To be able to call up a one-on-one conversation with somebody and just talk back and forth is kind of interesting. I don't know what their data collection plans are, but I noticed that when I say something into the phone, it can repeat it back to me. Maybe that stays on the cache. Maybe that gets uploaded somewhere for their AI learning models. Most likely that's what's happening there. We did see the app be a little bit laggy, and in all reality, you have to have a connection to their servers so you can have the conversations back and forth. So if you are on an airplane, you won't be able to use this app if there's no Wi-Fi available. It'd be nice to have an offline mode that just basically shows you the words that you've learned so far, so at least you can do the basics if you need to. For the most part, speak.com is very straightforward, and the ability to actually learn how to say something like, do you know where the butter is, rather than I need a caterpillar, then I really enjoy this app a lot. And I can't wait to give it more of a 30-day trial so I can learn the languages that I want to learn and be able to speak in another language other than having YouTube translate it for me, which is what it's doing right now. But what do you think? Are you trying to learn a language right now? What techniques do you use so you can retain all that information? Let me know over at Geekazine.com, youtube.com/Geekazine, where you can like and subscribe, and of course, hit that bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. Until next time, my name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, you guys geek out and learn a new language over at speak.com. Kamsahamnida. Tumanayo. Of course, Geekazine has a whole bunch of merch, including t-shirts and hoodies. Like, for instance, the Geekazine logo hoodie. We got some great t-shirts, including 80s Jesus Saved Me, Guardian of the Geekery, the original Geek AI t-shirt. We have a couple variations of this one. And then I Like Geek Butts and I Cannot Live. There are several more and more that are being added to the Geekazine merch page, so you can check that out over at Teespring. If you're on YouTube, you'll see those links below. And then over at amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. I appreciate that very much because it does support the channel.